I mean, there's an assumption around this question that I always struggle with, which is like, I don't understand why people say the average age of a scientist has gone up because I don't know that that's true. It's like when we start counting has gone up, but like science happens before someone is like tenure track. A lot of the most exciting science that's happening is actually conducted by students and postdocs in the lab. So I think of them still as like the core sort of like working force, creativity force of our scientific enterprise. And so I guess I was just like curious how y'all think about this problem. Like, do y'all think that the actual age of like the workforce is going up, or just like when we start giving people recognition and like resources and autonomy?
Yeah, my sense is that, of course, through tenure and right, like it's similar even like in politics, right? Like the people that get the credit and like who run the labs, like those people get older, I think, to an extent, and keep their positions for longer. And I think even with some of like my young scientist friends, like they have a harder time to rise at a young age, right? It's hard to have autonomy over your scientific decisions as a 20-something-year-old, which of course is completely normal in the tech world, for example, but it's not normal in academia and science, right? And I think that's for me one interesting trend, which I think is now frankly also shifting a bit with some like of these new scientific experiments, which I think often are also run by younger scientists and involve younger scientists and giving them more autonomy than maybe in very big labs run by much older scientists, which frankly, like I don't think even the age thing is like probably like causal in driving down scientific progress or something.
Yeah, I think it's kind of interesting that when I came from Germany to the Bay Area, it was really kind of like just very obvious how much younger people were here when they had a lot of responsibility. But that was not in academia, but that was more like in other parts of life. Because I think in Germany or like in many European countries, you have these like specific hierarchical hoops that you first need to jump through to like get to a specific pedigree. And no matter how good you are, you still need to do this 1 year of internship before you can like move on one step up in the ladder. And in the Bay Area, it was kind of like the opposite. Like, I arrived here and like immediately was handed down like responsibility after responsibility. And like I think people here, if they want something, or if they're hungry for something, they just like much quicker can like rise up. So I felt like there were lots more people that were much younger and like higher positions. But obviously academia is probably somewhat of a, it corrects a little bit for that, because the academic institutions, they are usually a little bit more hierarchical. And so probably in the Bay Area, in the more academic leaning organizations, there was a little bit more of a standardization between kind of like the age here and the age in like other European countries. But now that you have a lot of like alternative science funders that are not academic, but that are kind of like creating their own, let's say like private or philanthropic research organizations, there I think maybe you see again like a move again to more younger researchers, at least here in the Bay Area, or where these organizations, these alternatives to academia exist. Maybe you see like a move back to more younger folks being in higher in higher positions of leadership. Not sure. It's a total wild speculation, but I could see it happening.
I think that's my perception as well. Is it's not, to your point, it's not that the average age, taking apart the Manhattan Project example, but it's not that the average age of the scientists going out, but it's almost the average age of influence and power in the scientific community has gone up. And so, yeah, you're going to be, you got to do your, and Allison, I think to your point, I've seen that really even more so in academic, like, okay, I'm going to go, I get my PhD where I'm doing all the work of the PI, and then I got to go do a postdoc, and then maybe I can go do something else. And it's okay, great. I finally can do my own thing and really head down in that direction when I'm in, I think the average age for when I looked up the NIH was like 42. Like, okay, you've been doing this for 10, 15 years, and now you can actually do something, you are the primary going versus in the, in the entrepreneurial world, you've got the idea and you got, you can make the pitch, and I'm oversimplifying, but you can do that at 25.
Yeah, so maybe the like sort of like increase in age where that happens now is more of a not so much causal to Vincent's point, but like more a symptom of the increased like gatekeeping, friction, and bureaucracy we've layered into our work that results in that, which can, of course, like affect sort of productivity overall.